to discuss the workability and disadvantages of abolishing the SAT. The SAT should not be abolished because first, it hurts the admissions process of largely populated colleges, and second, abolishing the SAT does not fix the problem. Low SAT scores is not caused by socioeconomic statuses and race, but instead the education received at schools. First, the SAT helps colleges by making the admissions process quicker. The College Board says that across many colleges, SAT scores improve the correlation between admissions predictions and GPA realities by 10%, and 10% means a lot to big campuses that can't afford to spend hours getting to know applicants. Small colleges, like small liberal colleges, only have about like 5,000 applicants, whereas like USC has about 20,000 or more. So they don't have time to go and get to know each student individually. So an SAT average will help them decide who is prepared to go to their school and who is not prepared to go to their school. With the extra time needed, if the SAT is abolished, Michael Cohen, chairman of the USC Academic Senate, says that estimates that changing the admissions process is needed a 100% increase in the admissions budget. We already know California's going through a budget crisis, so they don't have the money to sit down with every individual student and see how they are across the board. The SAT gives them an estimate of how they are through all subjects, basic math and critical thinking and writing, instead of trying to sit down with them and realize how they are. Second, low SAT scores is not caused by socioeconomic statuses and race, but instead the education received at schools. Scott Jasik says that SAT is a good predictive value, and it is not even diluted by socioeconomic status and race, and it reflects real differences in learning and skill acquisition instead. The SAT shows how you do on basic math and critical thinking. So the SAT should not be blamed if you get a low score, but instead on how well you were taught the subjects in school. If you did not pay attention to class in math, it's not the SAT's fault that you got a bad score on the SAT, it's because you didn't pay attention to math. The College Board says that the average SAT taker spends only 11 hours preparing, and then a coaching on average adds fewer than 40 points to a score. So if you're wealthy and you can afford SAT prep, it doesn't really matter, it's only 40 more points. So poor people can get just as good as a score as a wealthy person, so colleges don't really look at only 40 more points. If you ran and volunteered and got 40 points less on an SAT, you're probably getting not compared to the person that got 40 more points but did nothing besides study on the SAT. The SAT offers students who aren't first language speakers a chance to show how well they are doing in English, in basic English, basic math, and that gives second English speakers a chance to actually go to this types of college and compete with students that take SAT preps and speak English as a first language. The disadvantage. If the SAT is abolished, first, a greater emphasis is placed on grades and extracurricular activities. Second, the effect is greater on African Americans, the negative effect. And third, educational problem is not solved. First, a greater emphasis is placed on grades and extracurricular activities. According to John Palos, a professor of mathematics at Temple University, without it, colleges would undoubtedly place more emphasis on high school grades and extracurricular activities, measures that also have shortcomings, grade inflation, and meaningless resume puffing being the main ones. Students who take ceramics and culinary arts who get straight A's is not the same as students who take AP Chem, AP Bio, and get B's. So if college is only based on grade, they're going to choose the students with 4.0 who took Mickey Mouse classes compared to students who tried their best in AP courses and got maybe B's and C's. So that is not fair. So the SAT is standardized, and you all take the same test, and you're all based on the same score. You're taking basic math and writing skills and critical. So it's not AP compared to Mickey Mouse classes. The SAT is a better indicator than high school grades because different high schools have different grading standards. and then other high schools. AP teachers can be more lenient. They can grade on a curve. You can get an A in one class when the same class in a different high school could not grade on a curve, so you could get a B in that class when you work more hard than the other student. Second, the effect of abolishing the SAT makes the admissions process more biased. In the realm of college admissions, this means judging the ability and potential of each individual student for college work and admitting the best qualified regardless of what racial group he or she might belong to. No matter what your race is, you're still taking the same test. They don't like say like, what is your race, and we're going to grade you on. You don't get extra points for being a certain race or anything. So you take the same test and you can get SAT prep no matter what your race is. So if you study really hard, you should be able to get the same grade. And the same high school depends if you were taught the same thing. If you're in the same class and you were taught the same thing, you should be able to score the same. Today, almost every competitive four-year colleges use scholarship to entice academic talent. So for students who can't afford to pay because they're in a low-income family, they are able, taking the SAT allows them to go to higher, bigger colleges, four-year colleges. So if you come from a low, it's not biased against like your wealth, because they're giving you the ability to pay for colleges that you wouldn't be able to without the SAT. Third, abolishing the SAT really ignores the educational problem. According to Burkert Peak, professor of African American Studies at Oberlin College, abolishing blood and EKG tests would do nothing to reduce the disease, and abolishing SAT would do nothing to improve the academic health of American students. So abolishing SAT does not fix the problem. It's basic math, critical thinking, and writing. What we need to do is fix the education given and make it more standardized if we're going to base it on grades.